What did you just do? The words sliced through the chaos like steel. A soldier's voice, sharp and unflinching, echoed across the airport skybridge. Moments before, the terminal was buzzing with noise, rolling suitcases, flight announcements, hurried footsteps. Then it froze. All because one tourist, red-faced and smirking, leaned forward and spat, right at the feet of a tomb guard in ceremonial uniform. The guard didn't flinch. He stood tall, unbroken, his eyes locked straight ahead, as if carved from stone. His rifle rested with perfect balance, his boots planted like roots into the polished floor. His silence was his strength, his composure a shield against humiliation. But the crowd around him gasped in disbelief. "Man, relax, it's just a costume," the tourist sneered, loud enough for everyone to hear. He waved a dismissive hand, as if this living monument, this embodiment of honor and sacrifice, was nothing more than a theme park actor. People pulled out their phones, some whispering, some shaking their heads. The disrespect was unbearable, yet the guard did not move. Then came the command. A booming voice rang out from the far side of the bridge. "Halt!" It was the officer in charge, his stride cutting through the crowd like a blade. His presence radiated authority, his medals catching the terminal lights. Every rolling suitcase stopped, every step froze. Even the announcements over the intercom seemed to fade. The tourist laughed nervously, trying to brush it off. "Hey, it's not a big deal. I was just joking around." But the officer's voice cut him down instantly. "You just spat at the unknown." The man blinked, confused. "What? He's just standing there." "No." The officer's eyes burned into him. "He represents every soldier who never came home. Every name carved in stone. Every flag folded for a family who wept alone. You didn't spit at a man. You spat at a nation's sacrifice." The tourist's smirk collapsed. The crowd leaned in, the silence now heavy, suffocating. No one dared move. The only sound was the hum of the airport lights and the officer's boots as he closed the distance. The guard remained in position, unshaken, his silence louder than any words. That stillness was discipline, the kind of discipline forged in blood and tradition. The officer stood inches from the tourist now. His voice dropped lower but carried more weight than any shout. "Terminal security, stop." The command rippled outward. TSA agents halted passengers mid-line. Escalators froze. The rhythm of the airport collapsed under that single word. People stood still, wide-eyed, watching history reenact itself in an unlikely place. The tourist, sweating now, stammered, I didn't mean..." But excuses had no place here. The officer's eyes never left him. Men like him, he gestured toward the unflinching guard, train for hours under blazing sun and freezing rain to honor the unknown. They do not flinch when mocked. They do not react when insulted. They endure. Because respect is not optional. It is sacred. The boyish arrogance drained from the tourist's face. He looked smaller now, diminished, as the crowd's judgment pressed down on him. A woman in the crowd whispered, "My brother. He's buried overseas." Her voice cracked, and others nodded, suddenly remembering their own loved ones, their own stories. The officer turned to the passengers, his voice rising like a drumbeat. "Let this moment remind you all. Freedom is not free. It is guarded every hour, every day, by men and women who ask for nothing but respect in return." Applause broke out, tentative at first, then swelling into thunder across the skybridge. Travelers clapped, some with tears in their eyes, others with heads bowed. Even those who had pulled out their phones lowered them, realizing this wasn't entertainment. This was reverence. The tourist lowered his head, shame flooding his face. He tried to speak, but the words never came. The guard still hadn't moved, still hadn't blinked, his silence a mountain that no insult could erode. The officer gave his final words like a verdict. "You spit at honor, and today honor stood taller than you ever will." The terminals resumed. The escalators hummed back to life, the tide of travel rolled forward again. But something had changed in that space. For a brief moment, in an airport where people rushed to leave, the world had stopped to remember those who never returned. And for everyone who witnessed it, the lesson burned deep. Respect is not owed to uniforms, but to the sacrifice they represent. Before we end this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comments.